You better get married soon. You're starting to look old. Mama, please, the Greeks and the Turks are friends now. Opa! I'm John Renton with the retro review of my Big Fat Greek Wedding from 2002. My oh my, it has been over 20 years since my Big Fat Greek Wedding was in theaters. I worked at the theater in town when this movie was out, and man, a lot of movies stuck around for a whole lot longer than you might have thought. That's the funniest thing about movies getting theatrical runs. Some of them are in and out really goddamn quickly. Even back in the early 2000s, they were out within a month. This one stuck around for a really goddamn long time. There were certain pockets of populations that would just flock to this goddamn movie, and they would continue to watch it. This was actually in the theater in town until the day it came out on VHS and DVD. No, really, I'm not kidding. And often, at least, the theater was half full, sometimes packed, because people just couldn't get enough of my Big Fat Greek Wedding. And it really was a goddamn new sensation, It was insane how popular this movie was. And yes, there have been plenty of popular movies and plenty of movies that have shocked the world and made a lot of money. But considering that Nia Vardalos, who helped write and also starred in this movie as Tula, she really wanted to make this project succeed. And thanks to Rita Wilson, who is the wife of Tom Hanks, she was like, hey, you know, Tom, you really should fund this. This seems like it could be successful. So $5 million for the budget, $8.5 million in today's money. I love talking about those little factoids. And the fact that this movie's over 20 years old just makes me feel old. I was 21 when this movie was out in theaters. But nevertheless, it had a decent enough opening. I mean, it was opening up in just a few theaters. I mean, it was about $597,000, which would be just over $1 million in today's money. So, okay, if it had legs, it would make its budget back, maybe twice that, and it ended up succeeding a whole lot more. $241.4 million, which would be 410 in today's money. And then the worldwide box office, it was successful all over the goddamn world. I mean, making pockets of money in various countries. $368.7 million, which would be $626.5 million in today's money, for a romantic comedy that basically is just a stretched out sitcom. And that's not a knock. There is life and energy and enthusiasm. And considering the third one is coming out in just over about a week and a half from the day of this recording, I'm diving back into this because I remember watching this movie once or twice in theaters and enjoying it. It was fun. It wasn't anything great or revolutionary, but it had heart and it had life to it, and it really showed how important family is and how important love is. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I don't know why the Napa Vince voice came out. But this was directed by Joel Zweck, who has done various TV, including Family Matters and Step by Step, Ooh Baby. I Really Want to Get With You, Girl. Yeah, I guess you didn't expect that reference there. Probably screwed up the lyrics. Despite the fact that my sister played that album like crazy. My God, it was on cassette tape. That's how old I am. The Jamie Foxx Show. And the Fat Albert movie from 2004. I mean, and done other stuff. Check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work. But yes, Nia Vardalos, who, I mean, credit to her. She, wanted to really make this. This was obviously a passion project for her. And you could tell she put a lot of her heart and soul into this. Yes, she plays Tula, who really wants more out of life, even though she loves her family. She wants to succeed. She wants to go to school. She wants to educate herself and stuff like that, instead of just being locked into the family business, because even though she loves her family, she wants to do more. And then she meets Ian, played by John Corbett, who for some reason I thought was Paul Rudd, or a Paul Rudd clone back then. Not now. I mean, you could kind of see it, I suppose, except Paul Rudd's a fucking immortal. He will outlive us all. And I did like how the dad, Michael Constantine, blessed dad. I mean, I believe he passed away a number of years ago. I think he passed away shortly after the second movie came out, and the third one's going to be to honor him. So that's going to be emotional for those that are dedicated to My Big Fat Greek Wedding timeline. And also, this spawned a television series that ran for all of 7 episodes. I watched it. It wasn't very good. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was based, coming off of the craze of the movie. I mean, and credit to them, they managed to make a series off of a movie that was basically just a couple, about maybe 3 sitcom episodes or maybe 4 Human Centipede together. But Aunt Vola, Andrea Martin, she was in her mid-50s and looked great here, by the way. And there were other people. Joey Fatone from NSYNC was in this, and I totally forgot about that because I have not watched this movie in years. I don't think I've watched this movie since it was in theaters. If I have, it was once on DVD, and that was a while ago. That was a long, long time ago. And various other people. It's all about Greek families, or a Greek family, and Ian's family that's very low-key, shall we say. And it's in Chicago, and the dad feels that Windex can fix everything, fix injuries, fix illness, doesn't matter. Yeah, there's not really a lot to spoil in this movie because Tula and Ian end up together and they end up succeeding, and love conquers all, even though the family's accepting eventually of it because Ian's willing to get baptized, all that stuff, and everything's good. So let's just talk about some of the particular things in this movie. Yes, Windex solving everything. Tula wants to make the most of herself. She had a rough upbringing. Not that her family didn't love her. She never felt like she fit in school. So, again, just the sitcom format, but it works. It works with enough moving parts in the background, the foreground, where you get interested in these characters. You want to watch them, even though you're watching the main characters. And the 2000s, the early 2000s computer tech, to think that that's where we thought that the world would peak. And the house decked out in the Greek colors with the Greek flag on the goddamn garage door. That was pretty goddamn cool. She just can't stay away from Ian, even though, by all... And Ian's a good guy. I'm not even saying like it was a bad thing. But I mean, the way they made the character, Ian was a good guy. But she can't stay away from him, even though the family wanted her to marry a nice Greek guy. And, yeah, it ends up just becoming a series of, situational comedy pieces where they're together, they're all this stuff and everything. The dad doesn't approve of them being together, so him and the mother try setting people, mainly the dad tries setting Tula up with a bunch of Greek guys that just don't appeal to her while she's sneaking off to see Ian. And meaning Ian's parents doesn't go well. Not that they don't appreciate her, but they're not culturally cultivated, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And eventually Ian's like, he pops the question to her while they're in bed. I mean, there are worse ways to pop the goddamn question. That's how you definitely make sure that you know if it's true. Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's true. So that was kind of a sweet moment, I guess. I've never proposed, and I don't have any intention of ever doing that. Then he gets baptized in the Greek church. Dating in with the family isn't exactly going all that great. I do like how one of the characters says, if the women of this family, and because I can never pronounce a goddamn last name, I always say porkmentos, and I know that's totally wrong, but if they aren't nagging someone, they die, which is kind of funny. Women don't nag guys. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? This is going not so well. I'm going to get off of this right now. But big old celebration. They're all happy. Engagement party. Oppa. All that. I don't know what the fuck that means. I know it's Greek. I don't know what it means. I don't know anything about Greece, except there are a lot of attractive Greece women. Boy, howdy. But, nevertheless. A lot of huge hair during portions of this movie when they're all getting ready for the big day, for the big fat Greek wedding. Why the fuck else would you have anything other than a big fat Greek wedding be the conclusion of my big fat Greek wedding? I did like the little side thing about spitting on people to keep the devil away. I'm not sure how healthy that is. But then again, the dad spraying Windex on himself and putting Windex on various body parts just to cure things. And Windex solves everything, apparently. I bet Windex sales got boosted for very odd reasons and very strange things happened with Windex after this movie because some people are idiots. So, there's a little side thing about Nico, one of the family members wanting to make the most of himself and being inspired by Tula going to college, wants to be a painter, wants to do that. And the dad compares the Miller family to being a dry toast family, no honey, no jam, no nothing, because they're culturally different. And then There's a lot of insanity on the wedding day, a lot of loudness and everything, but it comes off without a goddamn hitch. It turns out that Gus buys him a house. The dad does, that is. And of course the house is right next to them. So years later, they've got a kid. So apparently they said, well, 6 years later, okay, so we're going maybe 2008, 2009. 2009 probably. So we're way in the future at this point. And now Tula and Ian have a kid. They're taking her to Greek school. And you can marry anybody you want, honey, when you're old enough. Don't worry about it. And there you go. That's it. So that's it for my Big Fat Greek Wedding. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 review will be up sometime. I don't know. I review stuff at a weird pace. Sometimes I'll crank out 8 videos within 2 days, and then sometimes I won't crank out anything for a couple days. When you crank stuff out too often, you could go blind if you look down. Anyway, on that note, my Big Fat Greek Wedding. Was it great? I mean, that's arguable. Was it good and entertaining? Yes. Yes, it was. Now to the second one, and then the third one next week, as well as the Nun 2. Hooray for movies! Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.